The next call is a split call. I call Sarah Dowie, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for allowing me to take this short call on the Parental Leave and Employment Protection 6 months paid leave amendment bill. And I would like to start out by acknowledging the sponsor of this bill. Like the speakers before her, I do acknowledge the intention that she has of bringing this bill to the floor, the spirit of the bill, but unfortunately this government cannot support it on the grounds of fiscal responsibility. And I also want to point out or respond to the claims by the member opposite, Ms Ardern, who pointed to a number of dissenting opinions in 2002, but I can stand here and say that as part of this government, we do support the spirit of the bill. We do support paid parental leave. It's just that we disagree as to the fiscal constraints and how we're going to implement that. And as such, talking about the spirit of the bill, we're saying that there is not one size fits all, and that as a government we have to balance competing priorities and look across the board as to the well-being of children and their mums. So in that vein, I want to again reiterate, as the Honourable Michael Woodhouse did, that this government is extending paid parental leave from 14 to 16 weeks on April 1 this year, and then again to 18 weeks on April 1 of 2016. So again, that meets our fiscal responsibilities of being in government, and will be a very good help to those families that are having children. But again, in response to the spirit of the bill, we're looking at measures across the board, and I want to take time to just talk about one of them. As a mother, which I found extremely helpful, was the 20 million extra invested into maternity services, into well child services for new mothers and babies. So for me, the well child services were a godsend. I, as a new mum, relied heavily on the support of, well, my family, but also the experts of the community nurses that worked for Plunkett, and provided me with advice as to how to deal with children, how to bond properly without getting too concerned about the colic that I faced or the other issues that I had to work through. And just with that example there, I mean, while paid parental leave is being extended by this government and is of help, the advice that those nurses gave me rounded out that support and was incredibly well received by myself, and helped me enjoy the time I had with my newborn baby. I also want to talk about this government extending free GPs visits and prescriptions to children under the age of 13. Again, from a cost perspective for a family, to be able to take your child to the doctor and not worry about the cost is extremely important. You don't need to worry about the cost. You certainly don't worry about the burden that you could be putting on your finances. And again, that support from GPs to enable your child to be seen, to get the treatment that they may need, and to help them flourish into the future is again another example of an all-rounded package that this government is bringing into force. So again, I stand here as part of this government, and I again say that we support the intent and the spirit of the bill. And again, I do acknowledge the member that sponsored this bill for her passion. But there are fiscal constraints when you are in government, and as such, we cannot support this bill.
Called Jamie Lee Ross, 5 minutes.
Mr